Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I have been working today on a prompt for my bingo group for Royal Games 1. In addition to working on it for my bingo game, it is one of the letters in my acrostic January the 1st in the Daily 30 group. It is the R in January for Royal Games. And then in the, I think it's a magazine monthly challenge group, there's a G in the word. And that was my last letter that I needed for that acrostic. And I'm using Royal Games 1 for that. So my 547 stitches I put in today has met my bingo prompt, my acrostic in the Daily 30 group, and my acrostic in the monthly magazine challenge group. So that means I have completed all of my acrostics, the magazine monthly challenge, the 24 hours acrostic, and my Daily 30 group January 1st. Whew. Oh, this was a big one today. And I was loving it. And I'm at a point that I didn't want to stop, so I didn't. I still have to do my Bringo call for today, which is O Tomato, because you're to stitch on the prompt is you are to stitch on a whip or new start from your favorite designer. And right now, I'm really loving some Kathy Haberman. So, I'm going to stop now and do that. And but let me show you where I got to today. I finished all the card stitching for this half. Now, all I have left to do on this half completely are beads. And then I can go to the other end and do the card part. And it will be, again, ready. Once I do this little back stitching right here, it'll be ready for beads. I do believe there's a few little back stitches I need to put in her face, so I'll do that before I start beading. But the next time I pick this up, I'll be beading this half. Won't that be exciting? This is on my year of whips, so I'm real happy that it's gotten as far as it has. But that went really well today. I wasn't sure I was going to want the card background, but you know what? I like it. I like it a lot. I'm glad I tried it. I really think it frames that whole piece. That's lovely. So, speaking of framing, I picked up some today, and I'll put a clip in here where I'm sharing the pieces with you, and I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, so I'm going to put this away, and the next thing I'll be working on is going to be my O Tomato, and I'm going to put at least 100 stitches in it, and then we shall see what else I'll work on this evening. I hope you're having a great day. It's Friday, and tomorrow is Saturday, and I'm going to get to go to another stitching meetup. This is not one that I organize or I have any responsibility for, so I just get to go and stitch. So I'm looking forward to that. And a group of us are going to meet for lunch before, because their stitching doesn't start till 1 o'clock. And so we're going to meet for an early lunch and then drive on over to the stitching room and get situated. And my friend Donna and I are supposed to be starting a new start tomorrow. We're supposed to be starting Santa's house. And last night I was talking to some friends on a Facebook Messenger call and found out that a bunch of them are starting it on February 1st. They're having a stitch along, and I was not at their stitching meetup when they decided that, because they're in Alabama and I don't get to go to those. And so I didn't even know they were doing it. And I said, I'm starting this Saturday. And they're like, well, we're starting it the 1st. So I think I'll start it on Saturday, and then I probably won't do any more stitching on it until the 1st of February. And I'll fold myself into their stitch along as well. So I'll take Donna with me since she's the reason I'm starting it tomorrow. But I'm looking forward to it. And I'll share it with you. I'll share with you whatever I get stitched on it tomorrow to get it started. Well, have a great evening if I don't come back again. And I will talk to you as soon as I have more to share. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, welcome. It's Dina and today is the 19th of January and I got a call yesterday afternoon that I had some framing ready. So I ran over today and picked it up and I can't wait to share it with you. The first ones I want to share with you are my Sew Together series. These are the patterns that I stitched that are in part of my giveaway right now. On my last video, I put this up as a bundle of 6 patterns to give away. And this, let me see if I can get some of the glare off of it. Well, we will see. Anyway, these are 3 of those. There's windows everywhere in here, sorry. But these are the first 3. And I just have to share with you that there's another pair. Oh, it does better when I lay it back, doesn't it? There you go. Now you can really see them. And then I have a second one here. Let's lean it back this way. There we go. They are framed alike because they're a pair. So I intend to hang them either side by side or one over the other, like this, on the wall. So you will notice, if you've seen these patterns, these are not the colors in the patterns. I used Sulky and I did my own color palette. So I wanted something spring to go up in my house, and so I did very spring-like colors. And I just did a brown frame to keep it neutral. I tried to match the lettering that is right here in the darkest brown. And I pulled the blue out because I felt like the blue was in almost every one, not quite. I don't think I have blue in this last one, but it's in most of them. And my framer, Mindy, at the Hobby Lobby is fabulous. And she worked so hard on getting these with the piece in between. She took measurements, we talked about it, she tried cutting some practice mats and they weren't doing well. And she contacted me and said, I'm afraid we're just gonna have to put a mat all the way around and not put the tri-cut. And I said, you do what you need to do, Mindy, that's fine. And I got a call about another day later and she said, I don't like it. I've done a practice mat, I've put it in there and I don't like it. She said, I want the line in the middle. She said, if you'll give me a little more time, I'm gonna do some more math and I'm gonna see what I can come up with. So she sent me a picture of it. Of course, it was a practice mat, so it wasn't my blue mat, it was a different mat, but I didn't care, I loved it. And so today when I went to get it, she was so proud of it. She wanted to share it with me and I was blown away. I think it's beautiful. So let me put these away. So now the next one I want to share with you is Precious. It is When I Think of Stitching by Puntini Puntini. And I want to tell you a little bit about this one. This is a metal frame. It's a gold, almost like a brushed gold, and it matches that brownish gold in there perfectly. And we have a bluish green linen mat. You probably can't see the texture that's on the mat, but it is textured. And it matches that blue-green in the piece to perfection. And I just thought it was so pretty. This is for my stitching wall. I have a wall all the way up my stairs to my stitching room. And my stitching theme pieces are usually on that wall. So this will join my stitching wall. And this one is beautiful. This one I think I'm going to put in here somewhere in my stitching room. It self, because this is, I am a needlesmith. It's a By the Bay. It's beautiful. The mat on it, you can't see in the camera, but it has beautiful swirls in it, the brown mat. The minute Mindy saw this piece, she said, I have the perfect mat for this. And she went to look and it was discontinued. And she ran in the back and looked, and there was one piece left, and she grabbed it. She grabbed it and held on to it the whole time we were doing this calculations and whatnot. She said, I don't want you to miss out on it. And so it's perfect. It looks great. It actually is the right color to pull out those dark browns in the houses and the roofs. And then that green just matches the green in this piece. And this is a bit of a different color green. It's a kind of a bright green when you look at it, but I think she matched it perfectly. And I do believe it needed a double mat. Now this frame is quite substantial. I wanted it to be chunky. I wanted it to make a statement, and look how wide it is. It is amazing. So this one went from a small little 8x10 cross-stitch piece to quite a statement, I think, about me being a needlesmith. There you go. I have to remember to slant it back this way to get the glare off of it. But these are the called for colors. It's just as it is charted, and I think it's beautiful. I started this piece with my friends Donna and Mary. We all stitched it, and I don't know if the other two have theirs framed yet or fully finished or not, but I do love it, and I'm very pleased with it. So can't wait to put this up in my stitching room. So those are my framed pieces, my fully finished pieces, and I'm just really, really tickled with them, and hope you like them. Well, I guess I should quit fighting it. It's going to take 3 segments every day as long as I'm doing Bringo and Bingo. Well, I did finish my Bringo assignment today for my favorite designer, which is Kathy Haberman right now. And this is O Tomato. This is part of the topper of the long sampler that she did for our retreat. I'm still not finished with the topper, but tonight I stitched an additional 138 stitches in there, and I still have more to go. So that's okay. I don't know why I thought I could ever finish this in 1 month. I don't know why. I didn't realize how much stitching there was, I think, in especially this top section. So anyway, I completed another color today. This light variegated green here. So her tomato vine's gone from ripe tomatoes down to the green tomatoes, which I think is really cute. There are still some stitches, little ninja stitches in here. There are 2 more points of white, big swatches of white in here. There's a big star in the middle, and then there's back stitching on all the tomatoes. So there's still quite a lot to be done in the topper before I even get to my first set of words. So anyway, progress is progress. It is on my bingo board another time, and it's on my Bringo board another time. So you will get to see some more work done on the O Tomato, which is great. Okay, I'm going to put that away for the night. I don't have my calls for tomorrow to plan yet, but I'm going to go and I think get us some supper and then see what I do afterwards. Anyway, I hope to see you tomorrow with some good news and tales from, our new stitching group that we're going to visit tomorrow. So looking forward to that. In the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. It is the 20th of January, and it's about 5 o'clock in the evening. I have had a fabulous day. I went with my friend Juliana, my friend Donna, and I don't know how many others, probably 25 or 30, I don't know, ladies, and we descended upon the Hampton Library in Forsyth County here in Georgia and had a stitching day. And a group of us met for lunch ahead of time that were driving up from the Gainesville area. And while we were sitting at lunch, we got a message from the organizer that she had gotten to the library and their heat was out in the meeting room that she had reserved. And so they quickly set up tables and chairs in a section of the library kind of over to the side and just let us sit in the library and stitch. They didn't fuss at us to be quiet. We were all trying to be cognizant of that, but still, when you get that many people kind of talking, it can get a little chatty. But we all went, we all set up, we stitched, we had a wonderful time, we visited with each other. There were little door prizes that were given out. The lady who organized it is named Kathy, and she did a wonderful job, she and her sister. And I had a great time. Great time. Now, next month, they're going to meet on a Thursday, and it happens to be in a segment of time that I'm going to be out of town at a retreat. And so I won't be able to go next month, but I'm hoping to get to come the month after that. But as was planned, my friend Donna and I decided to have a new start today, and we wanted to start Santa's house. And this is a fairly new pattern by the Cottage Garden Samplings. And this was funny because we just said we wanted to start it. We didn't talk about how we were going to do it or anything. We showed up there today. And I had originally pulled a gray fabric that I was going to use that very closely mimicked what was on the pattern. And then as I was putting my threads against it, I felt like the two specialty threads might not lay well together, the gray in particular. So I went back into my stash and I pulled out this beautiful piece of silk weaver fabric. It is a Lugana 32 count, and the name of it is Sapphire Mist. And it is a gorgeous gray blue. It's just so pretty. So I got to start. I started the border, and there's a break in the border right here, so I went down to the break and back up. I started in the corner, and I went all the way across. So that's only as wide as this is going to be, 7.5 inches on my 32 count fabric. So that's not going to be a huge picture. It is 7.5 by 7.5, which means I could possibly pick up an 8 by 8 frame and frame this myself when I'm finished with it. But I have 224 stitches today at the stitching meetup for my new start. So I am tickled. I'm very tickled to have that. This was an unplanned start. This is not one of my 40 starts I had planned for the year. So my friend Donna's got me in trouble already. That's probably going to be 41 starts for the next year. We shall see. But anyway, Santa's house. Lovely. Love it. So had a wonderful time. Very happy. Very happy that I got to go today. Very privileged to do that. My husband took care of Coco. It was very cold. He was going to run this morning, and when he woke up, it was 17 degrees. But I just got a text from him on my way home and from the stitching meetup, and he said, oh, the temperature has doubled. It's 30 something. He said, I'm going to go try to run. So he's running. That gives me a chance to get home and get settled, and then we'll have dinner when he gets back. So I have a little time on my hands, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to stitch. I am going to pick up Halloween Quaker. I just stitched it for a prompt this morning, and I've posted it, but I am on the final row, and I would just like to put some more stitches in it while I have this little extra time, because I would love to finish it this month. This designer focus with Garan Stitchery this month is Lila's Studio. And I think it would be great to finish a Lila's Studio piece during her focus month. So I'm going to try it, Gary and Ronnie. I'll see. I'll see if I can get it done. But I am going to put some extra stitches in it today at least. So I'm going to go do that now. I hope you've had a great Saturday. I hope if you're aware there's storms and ice and snow that you're safe and sound. And I hope that you can stay put and stay warm. We had no idea what we were going to find at the library today once we heard that part of the heat was out. But they put us in a part that was heated. We did great. We all had our coats. We were teasing about having to go sit in the car and run the heaters, or I even told the ladies at lunch with me, I said, if it is freezing cold, we'll just go back to my house and we'll just tell my husband the ladies are coming. Get ready, you know, but we didn't have to. And it was a delightful, delightful time. So I hope you've had a great day. And I guess you can tell from my excitement I did. And I hope that you're enjoying your stitching. Happy stitching, everybody. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is Sunday, the 21st of January. And today, I'm here to share with you a little bit of stitching. First of all, I stitched late last night. I watched the finale of Reacher with my husband and then came back up here to stitch because it was only about 9:30. And I decided to finish up a motif on Halloween Quaker because this is the designer focus for Garon Stitchery, the group, our Facebook group. This month, the designer is Lila's Studios. And so I decided I would put all my extra stitches for the next few days into my Halloween Quaker by Lila's Studios. So I wanted to show you, I did get the house, the first house across the bottom is complete. Now, it is not exactly like the pattern. I changed the windows up. And I did that because I stitched all the one color across and had the whole outline of this done. And then when I came back to fill it in, I was one row or column short to get all the windows across the way they were charted. So instead, I just made do with my own little design in the windows and changed up the house just a little bit to make it fit. I'm happy with it. It's the same color palette, so I think it's going to be fun. But what's next is another tree, and then another house, and then it goes more. You know, I think there's 3 houses or 3 groupings of house across this bottom. So I don't know how much more of it I'll work on this month, but I wanted to show you that I had gotten that motif in there last night. That was just extra stitching. Then today I picked up my Bringo call, and today's number was 8, and it was a whip or a new start that reminds you of where you live. And I had said I was going to work on 13th Colony by the Bay. I don't live by the ocean, but I do live across from a lake, and we can see the lake from our house. We're not on the lake, but I see a lot of boats going by, and I love a lake environment. I grew up going to a lake a lot with my parents, and so it has good memories for me. So I picked up my 13th Colony by the Bay. I am probably at least halfway through with part 2, but this morning, right after church and lunch, I worked 2 colors and finished the island. So excited. These little blank spots here are water, but all the island is now complete. And so I think that's awesome, and I'm happy about that. So now I can move on across and do more water, and then there's a huge tree over here before you get to the end of this page. So I'm just working my way across to do that, and so that's what has been going this morning. I had to get at least 100 stitches for my Bringo, and I did 148. So I feel like that's plenty. It ended a color and completed the island, and I think that's a good place to stop for today. So I'm going to take this one off the Q-snap, and then I'm going to go work on my little bingo game. And for bingo today, I have to put stitches in spring quilt. And the last time I worked on spring quilt, you know, I finished the top of the middle section. So today I get to start on the bottom left corner of that middle section, which will be great. And it's mostly quilt. So I will just probably be color completing, you know, whatever's on that page. The reason that that section is broken into 4 parts, I may have told you already. Forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but the page breaks are right there. So there's a page break right in the middle and a page break across the middle. So I have a part of that square on 4 different pages. So I just decided that made good sense to break it up, stitching it that way. And I've been stitching it, whatever corner is on the page, I stitch to the end of the page. And then I go to the next page and I pick right up. So I will be working on a new page today to do that corner. And I will only do probably 100 stitches or thereabouts if I have to finish off with a strand of floss or something like that. And then I'll come back and I'll share that with you. And then my intention is to decide what I want to stitch on. I have got Halloween Quaker I'm pushing to a finish. I've got my Autumn in the Country I want to push to a finish. And of course I have Spring Quaker I'm trying to push toward a finish. And they're all 3 on my Year of Whips. So I don't know where I'm going to put my extra stitches today, but I will do that. We also have a new challenge up in the Daily 30 group called the Outlander Week, and I read it this morning and I like it, and I think I will probably look at it today and see if that will influence what I pick to stitch, something that I could use for that challenge as well. I had the privilege of shopping online yesterday in the Daily 30 group. They opened up the boutique, and there's a spreadsheet that they maintain that keeps track of all your virtual tokens that you've earned for all these challenges. And I had just let mine accumulate through the whole time that I could. I bought only one thing, I think the last time the boutique was open, and left the balance of my tokens in there. Now the tokens, I don't believe they carry them over from year to year. So I did my best yesterday to spend all of them. And if it's something, I either get something I want to stitch or I get something I think my stitching group might like, and I use it for a door prize. I purchase it and donate it for a door prize. So I've picked 3, and hopefully they'll all arrive together. I think Sharon would probably try to bundle them together and send them to me. So when I get those, I'll share them with you. But when I talk about, you know, stitching this, you can stitch 100 or 200. 100 will give you so many tokens, and 200 will give you more. And it's those tokens, those virtual tokens, that are adding up, and that's what we're purchasing with. And then we just pay shipping, which means you get stash very affordably that way. So I was tickled too. I had sent a box recently to Sharon to donate to the shop, and I saw a lot of those offered in the boutique, and I was so tickled to see that. I'm so glad she could use some of them. So it's been a fun weekend, and I enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed being able to pick something out that might be for me or for our stitching group in the months to come. So I hope to be back a little bit later and show you my spring quilt progress, and then we'll figure out what I'm going to stitch on after that, and I'll tell you about it. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back again. It is later on the 21st of January, and I am back to share with you my stitching for my bingo game. The call today in the bingo game was for my spring quilt. I had just added that about a week, sometime last week, when I was subbing in for one I had finished, and then it was called right away, so that was kind of exciting. This is what it's supposed to look like, although this picture does not do it justice. This picture has a very yellow tint to it. It almost makes the colors look like they're oranges, but they're not. They're quite beautiful. Not that orange isn't beautiful, but these These are much more my colors than orange would be. So this is what I did today. I finished this going across, other than the back stitching. The last time I worked, I finished this quadrant. This time I had to start this quadrant. And I did all of the piece that's behind the quilt, or that's not behind the quilt, the part that you can see, the part of the barn that's showing through. Now, I believe there's another section over here that'll be similar to that, and I very well may do it next. I don't know, because this is confetti heavy, let me tell you. Even in these windows, in the brown in those windows are 3 different colors. Yeah, 1 stitch of this color, 2 stitches of that color. Oh, it's crazy. Anyway, 308 stitches. Yeah, 308, not 108. Let me tell you why. Number one, there's a challenge that I mentioned earlier that I was going to go look at that's called the oh, it escapes me now. Outlander. Thank you. The Outlander challenge. And I read it and I decided, oh, I'd like to participate in this one, and I've done my acrostics, so I might as well do that. Well, as it turned out, I could use this for one of the challenges. So now I'm using it though as an alternative stitch. So I had to add 100 stitches to it. So the maximum stitches we get credit for our tokens are 200. But if you're not going to stitch something to meet the prompt, then you stitch an extra 100 stitches as they call it an alternative stitches, because you're stitching an alternative piece other than what met the prompt. So I knew I needed at least 300 stitches, but I knew this was going to be just about that much. And I wanted to get that whole section done, out of the way, completed before I started the pattern on the quilt, where I could color complete maybe all the way across the quilt. I don't know. I just felt like that was a good goal for today. 308 stitches was perfect, because now I have my 100 for my bingo group, and I have my 300 to give me my alternative stitches for my prompt that I was working on in the Daily 30 group. So that's awesome. So today I have finished both my Bringo and my bingo calls, and I'm going to take a break now and stop stitching for a while. My husband and I are going to watch a TV show. Well, it's a YouTube channel called Gone with the Winds. I think I've mentioned it before. They're supposed to pick up their brand new boat today. I'm so excited for them. So I am going to go do that with him. I don't know if I'll be back up here later tonight or not, but I feel like I've had a really good stitching day today, considering I've only been stitching since after lunch. I got 367 stitches all totaled in 13th Colony, because after I posted and filmed 13th Colony, I read Outlander and found out I could use 13th Colony, but I needed to get 200 stitches. And so I went ahead and just made a goal for myself to finish a particular section, and that's what I did. So today, all total, in the 2 projects, I have stitched 675 stitches, something like that. So that's good. I think that's a great day of stitching. And I'm going to put everything away now and wait for the calls for tomorrow so I can pull out my projects and have them ready to go in the morning. I hope you've had a great weekend. I hope it's been a restful, quiet weekend for you. I hope you've gotten a lot of stitching time. Happy stitching, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina, and it is the 22nd of January, and I wanted to come by this evening and share with you the stitching that I've been able to accomplish today. It was interesting in my call today, because my Bringo call was to stitch on a Whipper-New Star that will be finished in any way except framed. You could also use your time to actually finish something, and I had originally planned to do that, but because of the cold weather and some other commitments I've had this week, I haven't made it to the fabric store to pick the fabric to finish what I had planned to finish. So instead, I thought I am going to pull out one of my whips that is going to be finished quite different. It's going to be finished in a very small pull, almost like a bell pull. It's my Kathy Haberman Ode Tomato. Well, in addition to that being my Bringo call, my bingo call today was number 16, and that was Ode Tomato. So that worked really well. I didn't even plan it that way, and it worked out that way. So I came in here today and I stitched one little stitch to finish that grouping that I think is supposed to be a little flower. And then I stitched all the white behind here. And when I finished stitching that, I had 108 stitches and I only needed 100 for my prompts. So that's what I did. And I wanted that to be all that I wanted to work on it today, because I had in the back of my mind some other stitching I wanted to do. So I met my prompts, both with the same whip today, which is great. And then I could put it away and get out what I wanted to work on today. So I did mention to you that I am in the year of whips, and we couldn't start counting our finishes that occurred until after the 18th of January, because that is Melanie Watkins' birthday, and that's when the year of whips started. We go from January 18th to December 18th. So I have been diligently working on several of my year of whip projects whenever I can put extra stitching in them, because I know those are on my list of having to finish this year. But one of them was a little ahead of everyone else, and I had hoped, rather than finish it right away, I had hoped to finish Halloween Quaker this month, simply because the designer focus this month is, hold on, I got an earring that's crooked. There we go, try again. Simply because the designer is Lila's Studios, and she is the designer focus for Garan Facebook group. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a finish on her piece while it's the designer focus for that month? And I was stitching on it quite a bit. And then I realized that that bottom row is stitch heavy. It is the most stitching, I think, in the whole design, that row. I have done 2 trees and 2 houses, and I'm still only not maybe a third of the way across. So I'm not sure I can finish it this month, and I thought, well, I think I'm going to go back to something that is closer to a finish. I'm going to work on it and see how it goes. I knew I had a Zoom call tonight to stitch, and so I thought, well, I'll just stitch on it all day. I'll take breaks to do other things. I put up a video today. I went out to eat with my husband, and I stitched. I stitched until just a few minutes ago on it, and it's 11 o'clock at night, but I finished it, and I'm talking about Autumn in the Country. So this is the cover for Autumn in the Country. It's beautiful. This was gifted to me. I didn't know how it was going to look, but I will tell you, it's gorgeous. And the fabric that I put this on is called Autumn. It is by Be Stitch Me. And I tell you, it is some of the prettiest fabric I've laid eyes on in a long time. So this is Autumn in the Country. On Autumn fabric, 32 count Lugana. But this is a Just Nan pattern. It's the first one of these I've done, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. There's some 1/1 stitching in it. All the alphabet letters, there's some of the alphabet in each corner. And the blackbird in that tree and the black cat are all 1/1 stitching. And the year is 1/1. there are specialty stitches. There's Smyrna Cross in here. I didn't put it as a Smyrna Cross simply because in the pattern the Smyrna Cross was just an emblem. It wasn't listed out or drawn like a Smyrna Cross, and so I didn't catch it when I first stitched in that color. I just did X's, so they're all cross stitches. I missed that. Anyway, there are beads in this, and I want to show them to you. There are purple beads in the corner of the square, on each corner, and there are striped yellow beads. Now, you're not going to be able to see them because they're minuscule. They're tiny, tiny, tiny little stripes, but they go in the corners as well. That's the only beading that there is. But I think it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. That is an interesting border. All of the patterns in this series by Just Nan have a border similar to that, where it has that unique folding of the border wrapped around. I think the colors are beautiful. I love the little scarecrow, and if you look really close, you can see his hands and feet look like straw. Those are long stitches, and they're in there to look like straw. There's very little back stitching. The face on the scarecrow is back stitched, but other than that, there's I don't even think there's any more back stitching at all. But I think it's beautiful. Really, really pretty. And I even have enough fabric left that I can do another beautiful piece on it. It'll have to be a small autumn piece, but this is not that big. This piece is not that big. Had I measured a little better, I could have turned my fabric this way and done it on that 1/2, and I would have had that whole half left, but I'll have just about as much left, I think, going this way as I would the other. But I think it's beautiful, and I wanted to share it with you. And this is the very first one of my finishes on my Year of Whips. So I am thrilled. I'm thrilled. Melanie, I didn't get it finished by your birthday, but I sure did get it finished as close to it as I could. So there you go. I'm loving it. I think it's gorgeous. I am going to have it framed. I have some gift cards that I haven't used yet at Michael's. Now, I usually get my framing done at Hobby Lobby. I really, really like working with Mindy, and she does such a good job, as you saw recently when I took my gift card from my husband and got that framing done. But since I've got gift cards, these were gift cards from friends and my son from in the last year, and I've just been hanging on to them. I'm thinking that I may have enough just about to pay for this at Michael's. And so I'm going to go. They do a good job. They're just, they're not quite as easy to work with when it comes to helping me pick the stuff to go with it. It's not usually that great. But I'm going to see what they're going to, what they can help me with for this one. And I love it. I think it's beautiful. So I will tell you this too. I thought it was really odd. The instructions say to do all the beading in a 3051 or something like that, which is a green. And my fabric isn't green. The called for fabric wasn't green. The beads are purple and yellow. So I thought that was really odd. So I didn't do that. I did the purple beads with purple floss, and I did the yellow beads with yellow floss. I tried to match the colors as close as I could so that you don't notice the thread. Anyway, I hope you like it. Thanks for letting me share it with you. I am tickled to death. Tickled, tickled, tickled. So, I have posted it in Stitch from Stash. Now I need to go post it in my Year of Whips and let Melanie know that I've gotten my first finish of the Year of Whips. And then I'm going to head off to bed. I have an early morning tomorrow, getting my hair cut, and then I have to go to the dentist for your routine cleaning or whatever. But, you know, it's just going to be a busy day running around. It's supposed to rain all day. Of course it's going to rain. I'm getting a haircut. I always tease and say, whenever I'm getting my hair done, you can count on it. It's going to rain. Anyway, I hope you've had a great day. I certainly have. I've got a great finish. And I'm tickled because the other finishes I've had this month were smalls that I started on the 1st of this month. This piece I started on May 23rd of 2022. It was one of those May Monday starts. And I think if I recall correctly, I was at the beach. We had rented a house at the beach. And I think I remember starting this sitting under that big fish. And that would have been, you know, in 2022. So it's taken me over a year to finish this because, you know, I don't work on something monogamously. So it's just been something I've worked on for prompts over the time. And so that means this is sort of not an old whip, but a prior whip, you know, from a prior year. And I'm delighted. I'm delighted to get it off my whip list. So I'll let you get on with what you're doing. I'm going to say goodnight. And I don't know how much stitching I'll get tomorrow. I may only get to hit my prompts, and I don't even know what they are yet. I haven't even looked. But I'm just tickled to death to have a finish. And this one is, in my opinion, a very pretty one. I really like it. So have a great day tomorrow, and I hope to be back with you to share with you a little bit of stitching. Good night, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It is fairly early on Tuesday morning. I had an early morning today, and I've been able to stitch as I'm waiting to go for my first meeting of the day, which is to get my hair cut. So I decided to look at my Bringo call this morning, and it was to stitch on, let me give you the clue. We were to stitch on a whip that had words on it. And so I pulled out my O Tomato because, as you can tell, that has lots of words on it. This is the design that we got at our retreat with Kathy Haberman up at the Dying to Stitch this year. And I have a start on it. I've worked on it several times, but just in small parts to meet prompts. And so today, again, I needed to do 100 stitches. And I was able to finish the last one of these white triangles that are behind the tomato vines, including the stitches that Kathy referred to as the quilting stitches that make it look quilted. And so all total, that was 131 stitches. So I'm really, really happy with that. That met my goal. And now all that I have left to do on that piece, that motif up here, is to do the back stitching around these little flowers, and then the back stitching, or it's called back stitching, but it's really finishing off all the tomato stems, you know, having all the tops of the tomatoes. So all that's left of this motif is back stitching, and so maybe I'll do that next time. But I'm glad to be this far along with it, and this is a very intricate topper, and so I'm trying to get it done. And then the next section after the topper is a quilted star in here, and then you start words. So I'm looking forward to getting to the words because I think that'll help me move a lot quicker. You can do the words either 2/2 like the rest of it, or you can do them 1/1. My friend Donna's going to do them 1/1, I believe. I don't want to do 1/1 on linen, on 32 count linen. I don't stitch very often on linen. I can, as you can see, but it's not my favorite. And so there have been many times when I've had to frog a few stitches because one little strand was skinny and I didn't see it or something like that. So I'm making it. It's not my favorite. I probably should have swapped it out before I ever started. But Kathy had it all measured and marked on where to start, where to fold, everything. And I hated to waste all of that measurement that she had already done for us. So I did it on the linen. Anyway, that is my Bringo call for today met. Today's the 23rd. There are only 2 left. And interestingly enough, one of the calls is for Autumn in the Country. It's to stitch on something that has a bird on it. So I can just look and see if I have anything else that has a bird on it. Hawk Run has a bird somewhere on it. I know it does. So I'll stitch on that if nothing else. So now the call for my bingo game is to stitch on Royal Games 1. I'm so excited. So here's my quandary. I can either start beading where I'm at and do that as my 100 stitches, do 100 beads. Or I can roll it back down to where it was and finish the card stitching all the way around and put the heart next to the Queen of Hearts at the other end, which is the rest of the cross stitching that I haven't done. I'll have to see. I think I may roll it up and finish the cross stitching so that all the stitching is done and I don't start beading and then have to stop and cross stitch again. So I think I just solved my problem. Anyway, I'm going to do that next, and then I'm going to go get my hair cut and go to the dentist and all my little erranding I have to do today. I'm hoping to take my finish from last night to the framers today, and while I'm out, if it's not pouring rain when I get there. So I will put this away. This is my little bag I chose for my tomato, and I even put a little red tomato zipper pull on it. This is a Mickey Mouse bag, but I loved it because it had the red in it, like a red tomato. All right, I'm gonna get busy, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Hi everyone, welcome back. It is later on January the 23rd, and I am here to show you my stitching for my second call today on my bingo game. So in my bingo game, the call was for Royal Games 1, and I had finished the cross stitch on the Queen of Spades side, so I had to flip it back around today because I had to add in the 2 hearts and the card outline. The border that I had stitched on the other end, it had stopped right here in the middle, so I had to take it around twice. Well, I did my heart and I submitted that for my 100 stitches. It was even over 100 stitches, but I submitted that for my bingo, and then I just kept stitching because this piece is on my year of whips, and I wanted to get the cross stitch on this end finished so that the next time I pull this out, the only thing I have left to do are beads or any specialty floss like a Krynic or something if I've missed it. You can't tell how sparkly that is, but that's all Krynic in there. So I'm excited. I got 562 stitches in her tonight. So it took all afternoon. And now I am ready. The next time that she's called for anything, I'll be beading. So we have our calls for tomorrow, and tomorrow on my bingo, I'll be stitching Nativity. I'm probably going to limit that to the 100 stitches or close to it, whatever I pick to stitch on it, whether it's to run out my length of thread or if it's to, you know, finish a motif or something, but I'm aiming for 100 stitches on it because it is more difficult to see, and I could get tied up all day stitching that, just like I did this one, but it's not on my year of whips. So I want to see what else is going to happen. So then the one that's called for Bringo today was the one I wasn't sure what I'm going to do. But it's number 7, and it is a whip or a new start that has a bird on it. And I know that my Hawk Run Hollow has a bird on it. I can't remember. Oh, I know also Love Abide has a bird on it. So I think since I haven't touched it in a while, I'm going to stitch on Love Abide tomorrow. So I'm going to change that out to Love Abide, and I'll make a note of that in the Facebook group as well, since I finished Autumn in the Country yesterday. So today I took Autumn in the Country to Michael's. I don't frame very much at Michael's anymore. I found that they don't have the experienced staff that's used to dealing with, needlework as they do at my local Hobby Lobby. So I don't go there as often. However, I had gift cards from last Christmas, from my birthday this year. I had some gift cards to Michael's, and I wanted to use them. So I took my Autumn in the Country there today. I picked out a beautiful frame. I did not pick any matting to go with it because I think the fabric is so pretty. I want to see as much of it as I can. So I asked him to leave at least an inch all the way around that I could see. And I'm having it framed in a beautiful metallic frame that looks almost goldish, like part of the golds in the piece, and yet there's a little bit of almost like stippling in it. And it was like a little purple hue, and there's purple in that piece. So I think it's going to look great. I'm excited about it. The lady who was helping me, she was a young girl, and she loved the frame. She said, "This is one of my favorite frames." I said, "Great, okay." So that bode well. But I did get to use my gift cards, and so that made that framing extremely affordable. Especially without a mat, and that sort of thing. But because it has beads, they're still going to put spacers in for me, and I will put glass. She quoted me with acrylic, and I didn't want acrylic because I was afraid there are chemicals in acrylic that might hurt my fabric. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that was just the impression I got. So I just told her to put plain glass in there. Anyway, my things are up in my house, and so I don't need the museum glass and things like that because I don't put them where the sun can hit them. So I go as affordable as I can. But I dropped that off today. So hopefully I'll have it back in a couple of weeks, and I'll be able to share it with you. So that'll be great. Well, tomorrow I get to work on Love Abide and Nativity, and who knows what else. We're on the last 2 days of our Bringo Bingo game. My last one will be a new start. The last number left is a Crochet-A-Go-Go new start, and it's because I have to stitch on a whip or a new start from a non-US designer. And Crochet-A-Go-Go was one of those. So I'm going to start a piece from that new pattern. And so that's exciting. I think that will wind up being my 7th new start of the year. Oh, we'll see. Anyway, but that'll wrap up the month beautifully. And I think the next thing that I will be putting some extra stitches in might be my Halloween Quaker again, because it's still the designer focus this month, and so if I do any extra stitching on it, that would be in honor of that, and so we'll see how that goes. Well, that's all the stitching for today. Oh, I will tell you this. I think I shared with you about Coco being groomed and the groomer shaving her so close to her skin that it got irritated. We've been putting cream on it. We have been trying to keep her from licking it by putting her in a onesie outfit, looks like a swimsuit. Anyway, today my husband was able to get her in to see the vet. I had called them and asked yesterday if they could see her yesterday, and they couldn't see her till today. But he was able to take her today while I was at the dentist, and it turns out that it was the shaving that they just got her too close, and they irritated her skin, and then her licking it is what really got it messed up. So we now have her some antibiotics. We have her I guess like a cortisone or something that she's going to be taking that will just kill the itch, and it will take down the inflammation. And so my husband's having to give her a pill morning and night for several days, and then he has ointment. He has a spray to put on her and ointment to put on her. So we're trying to get her skin back to what it should be. And the vet told us to tell the groomer next time not to shave her tummy, to leave one of the guards on her clippers and just do it as, you know, as short as possible, but don't shave her anymore. I don't know that they've shaved her before because she's never been irritated before. I had a sneaky suspicion that we had a different groomer because it didn't look like the groomer that we're used to. It didn't look like her normal work. My husband commented on that when he picked her up. So I think I will call them and find out. And if so, I'm going to ask them how come they changed groomers without talking to us. I don't know. Maybe the groomer left. Who knows? But anyway, as I mentioned, I've got some footage of Coco in her little onesie. I think you might find it interesting. I'll put it at the end of this video. But the good news is she's fine. She's going to be fine. And hopefully this medication will stop it from itching, and then she'll quit licking it so much. So that's all the news from here. Tomorrow I get to meet a friend for lunch that I have not seen for a while. She leads our women's Bible study, and I didn't go to the last Bible study because of all the traveling and stuff we were doing. So I'm back there this time, and when I saw her, I said, what all's going on with you? You know, I need to catch up with you. So she suggested we go to lunch and just have a long chit-chat and catch up. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. And but other than that, it'll just be a day of stitching. I'm very excited. Very excited. We will have choir practice tomorrow night. That's a given. But I am looking forward to hitting these whips tomorrow, getting my 100 stitches in, and then deciding which one of my year of whips I want to put extra stitches in. Probably Halloween Quaker. We'll see. Well, I hope you have a great evening, and I hope you have a great day of stitching tomorrow. Happy stitching, everybody. Okay, so the little panties were too small, so Coco's daddy got her a onesie today. Now this is not for warmth. This is to keep her from licking her belly where they shaved her too close in her grooming this month. But she seems to be enjoying it just fine.
She looks like Pebbles from the Flintstones.
Yeah. Hey, beautiful. What you doing? What you doing, huh? I like your onesie.
It's an extra large. We may have to try the large.
Okay, it may be too big.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It gives her plenty of room. Yeah, it's probably warm. It's probably warm, Daddy.
She likes it. Let me put it up closer like this.
Yeah, that is a little big.
That's a little bit big. Well, she's on a diet program, so.
Okay, here is Coco in the next size down in her little outfit. Come here, Coco. And so we're trying to decide if this one is the right size or if the other one is the right size. So tell me what you think.
That's large. What?
This is large. The other one's extra large.
Come here. What do you think?